Hey guys, my name is KJOS and let's be true to ourselves. Why should anyone buy an iPhone 13 mini or any other mini at this point? I mean, sure, it's small in its size, it fits into every pocket without any issues, and it's pretty nostalgic, reminding people of the good old days of the iPhones. But that can't be all, right? Because in all aspects of every other iPhone 13 series, the mini comes in dead last. And that can be seen with the sales, as the 13 mini only accounts for 3% of Apple sales in the US and has prompted Apple to make this the last mini phone ever. Well, unless people feel pretty nostalgic again in the future and they bring it back. So why exactly should anyone buy the iPhone 13 mini in 2022? Let's start with the most obvious reason, and that is the size. The iPhone 13 mini is 5.4 inches with the same body and design as the iPhone 13 and the 13 Pro. A square-shaped design with Gorilla Glass on the front and back with an aluminum frame. Now this makes it easier to grip all sides of the phone without any issues. Now the button placements on the sides are almost the same. The power button is on the right, while the volume button, SIM card tray and vibrate bar are on the left side. At the back is a dual camera setup with a 12 megapixel wide angle and ultra wide lens that is also very similar to the iPhone 13. And finally at the bottom you have a lightning cable port and stereo speakers that are great for listening to music, audiobooks and podcasts. The iPhone 13 mini is also IP68 water resistance, so you can take this off for a swim for 30 minutes within 6 meters of water. Now a big difference between this and the iPhone 13s is the weight. As expected, the 13 mini is very lightweight. At 141 grams, the illusion that a phone is in your pocket disappears. And to be honest, it can be a good thing and a bad thing. Good because you won't feel the burden of a phone in your pocket, and the bad is you won't feel the burden of a phone in your pocket. Now if they happen to steal it off you, you might not even know, which is kind of scary. In terms of its size, if you love smaller phones, then you will most likely adore this phone. But what about that battery life? Another major difference between the mini and the rest of the iPhone 13 series is its battery life. Now the mini has one of the most average batteries you will see in 2022. I mean, it improved with the battery from the 12 mini, but it still falls behind, especially when other flagships are out there. It has a 2,438 milliamp hours of battery, and I honestly don't remember the last time I used a phone with that size. Now, I do understand that there is so much they could do with a smaller frame, but there's a lot to be desired when it comes to the battery life. On a daily basis, I get about 4 to 5 hours of screen on time, and it dies by around 4 or 5 p.m. on some days. It's not the most dependable battery, especially if you're going out for the night. Now the best thing you can do is always pair it up with a MagSafe charger or have a power bank on standby to avoid your battery dying when you least want it to. One of the possible reasons the battery life drains a lot faster is down to the display. You see, this has the same display as the iPhone 13 and the 13 Pro minus that 120Hz refresh rate. And that is a Super Retina OLED panel with similar peak brightness that reaches about 1200 nits. So if the 13 mini has similar peak brightness as the other phones, but with a smaller battery capacity, then it will affect its daily life. But even with a smaller battery, we can still appreciate how good it is. It has a 1080p resolution with a pixel per inch density of 476, which is higher due to its size. Now even though the display is great, I wouldn't exactly recommend this for gaming, especially if you play games such as Apex Legends or Call of Duty. It's more difficult to see the maps and the opponents that are around you. However, it is decent when it comes to watching movies or just YouTube videos. Again, it's not exactly the biggest screen, but it gets the job done nonetheless. As you may have already guessed, there is no higher refresh rate or ProMotion as Apple calls it. And it's really not a surprise if I'm being honest, because this would greatly affect that battery life that I do not even like. Now to unlock the 13 mini, there are two methods, that is Face ID and your PIN. With Face ID, it's pretty quick and responsive. It's not exactly the most secure as a fingerprint reader, but it gets the job done nonetheless. If that doesn't work for you, then a 4 to 6 digit PIN also works. It is honestly more secure than any other thing. Overall, the display is great, and that's not a surprise because Apple is well known for giving their phones great displays even if it's on a smaller device. Software support for the 13 mini will continue regardless of if Apple should discontinue this or not. If we know Apple, which we really do, then the 13 mini should get at least 5 to 7 years of software support, which is great if you plan on using this phone for a while. And speaking of software, iOS is just as similar as anything on any other iPhone. Currently, I'm on iOS 15.5 and it works just as well, and it worked out all the kinks regarding apps and occasional crashes. But apart from that, iOS is still well ingrained and well optimized on the 13 mini. A downside though is a lack of customizations, but Apple has shown us it's going to change all that with the incoming iOS 16. Now I don't think it'll be good as the Pixel 7 or Material U on Android 13, but I'm pretty sure it's a step in the right direction. Now the Apple ecosystem is still its strongest selling point. The communication between Apple devices helps my workflow tremendously, from AirDrop, scanning documents, and many more. Now there is competition with Samsung and Google, but for now, nobody comes close to what the Apple ecosystem has. The camera on the 13 mini is a dual camera setup with a 12 megapixel on both the wide angle and the ultra wide. Now while in front it has a 12 megapixel selfie camera. Now for some reason a lot of people think because it is a mini, the camera quality will be bad or not just as good as the iPhone 13 or the 13 Pro. But that's just wrong. It's very similar or on the same level as a 13. Now I took a couple of pictures when going out and it comes out pretty well. The color accuracy is top notch, the vibrancy and saturation are well balanced, and so is that dynamic range. Now apart from the occasional miscoloring of my skin, the majority of the pictures come out really well. The ultra wide is not that great. Now if you're not in direct sunlight or have any good light source, the pictures you take are not going to come out well. It was almost very bad, but then again I thought not a lot of people are going to use the ultra wide, so maybe I'll give it a pass. Now where Apple shines the most is with its video. It shoots at 4K 30 and 60 frames per second. Now the iPhone 13 series still has one of the best video cameras on any smartphone in 2022. It is very consistent and sometimes you can't even tell when someone uses it to shoot a full YouTube video. It's just that good. If you do want to start creating content, then an iPhone mini is a great start. iPhone 13 mini costs $699 in the US and $749 in Canada. It's not exactly a cheap phone, but it is a more budget-friendly option than most flagships that are out there. But I don't think I can justify that price tag because the iPhone 13 is the better phone when it comes to having a better battery life and a slightly bigger screen that makes gaming and video watching a lot more satisfying. Now, it might be $100 more expensive, but I believe it is better value. Then again, if you love a 5.4-inch phone, then you should definitely go for the 13 mini, as this is the last of a dying breed. What do you guys think? Would you get the iPhone 13 mini or get something else? Comment below and let me know. And do not forget to like this video so more people can see it. And please consider subscribing to the channel as 5,000 subscribers is on the horizon. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. My name again is KJOS and I will catch you guys in the next one where I talk all things tech.